you know?
Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a fantastic author, comedian named C.A. Kanooble with me today. C.A., thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, you are not. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit.
I tried to put on a poker face when I said it at least.
Yeah, make the people believe it. Look into the camera.
Yeah.
Let's
Look me in
start.
my eyes.
Look me in my eyes and tell me that, you liar. Hey,
Right.
you're in Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Absolutely. The only place in America where from back
Were,
shots to gunshots is a love story. So,
were you born and raised there?
yep.
I spent many years in Philadelphia.
Is that why you're no longer here?
Is that I got lots of stories about Philadelphia, man.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's a tough town, man. That's a tough town.
Yeah. And I
Probably
mean, it's just
pro-
tough in general. So,
probably way before your time, but I used to manage the Sam Goody in King of Prussia.
I see, I
Does
don't
that
go
make
by King
any-
of Prussia very much. So,
Yeah, well, it was the King of Prussia Plaza. I managed the record store there called Sam Goody.
yeah.
I used
Well,
to
that was
live
like
in
a chain, right?
what's that?
Was Sam Goody like a chain, right?
Yeah, Sam Goody
Okay, because
Music.
I was like, I remember Sam Goody,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. I used to manage it, and I lived in Horsham, and yeah, Philadelphia. I love Philly. I'm an Eagles fan, all that. But let's move on.
all right,
When
go
did you start?
Birds.
When did you start doing comedy?
I actually started doing comedy in January 2020.
January of 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
January will be 5 years.
yeah. I was so impressed, and I'll stop goofing around. I was so impressed because you have played with a lot of great comedians. You've done a lot of features, headlines. You're
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
hilarious and
let
I'm
me
hot.
ask you. How did it come about? Was there a catalyst? I always ask comedians is, was there a catalyst that made you decide to start doing comedy?
Honestly, I've just always been like a storyteller in my family and friends group. And I actually had a friend from when I was growing up that I got in contact with. His name is actually Jackie Wills. He's a fellow comedian. We
Well,
were just messaging on
we'll mention him. We'll mention him. What was his name again?
uh, uh,
Jackie.
Jackie Wills.
Jackie Wilkes. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Jack. But yeah, we had gotten into contact with each other on Facebook in like
Okay.
January of 2020. How you doing? Because it had been a few
Right.
years. And he was like, we're actually, me and my group are running a open mic comedy
Okay.
show every Wednesday. Why don't you come out there? I don't know why you haven't done this. You're hilarious, all the things.
Right.
And I talked to my family about it, and they're like, why haven't you done this? I was like, I can get paid for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and as soon as I got on that mic at my first show, it was just like, I was born for this. I love to make people laugh. I love to be the
Yeah.
center of attention, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I love public speaking. So just,
Yeah. Well, 5 years later, you're kicking ass and taking names.
absolutely. And now my own comedy show too.
Yeah, and we got a lot of stuff. Let's start because you have a huge following on Instagram. I went over to Instagram and I followed you, and I saw a Ho on the Go shirt,
Yeah.
and I was like, I got to ask her about that. But then I read it. Do you want to tell the people about? First off, do you have merchandise? Are you now selling those shirts?
Well, at the moment I'm not, but I do have merch.
Okay,
That's one of them. There's
okay,
three different shirts that I have. Um,
okay,
once I get a little more settled, I'm moving right now, so just
okay.
having all that around is
Well,
just not.
I apologize. I just wanted people to know what the "ho" part of it means because I think it's great.
Sure. Ho stands for happiness over everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And I'm
that
not
really,
a ho or some ho. I'm the ho on the go.
yeah, it resonated with me because, and you don't know, we've just met. For everyone, we've never met, and no, no, I mean they
I'm
should
laughing
know,
because I can't wait to tell the story of our first like minute together.
right? Well, no, because they don't know. If someone's tuning in, they don't know that you and I've never met,
Right.
and I got fired for telling jokes from my job, and that's how this started. And
Wow.
I came home from work, and I think I was talking to my sister, and I said, I just always wanted to bring joy to people's lives. That's why I told jokes. And with you, with the hoe, happiness over everything, and I just wanted to bring joy to people's lives.
Mhm.
It really resonated with me, especially in this world we're living in.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got, yeah, boy, I ground this comedy thing to a halt, didn't I? I'm sorry. No,
No, because I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, it's more like when I say happiness over everything, I love bringing joy to people through my comedy, but I love more inspiring people to find joy in themselves, to choose their own
right,
happiness over everything. So,
right.
you know, and crack a little jokey joke in between, you know?
Okay. Well, why don't you do a couple? I'll shut the hell up and do a couple jokes if you want.
Um, Maybe in a minute because I now I got to
Okay.
figure
All
out which
right.
ones I'm gonna use.
Well, let's talk about you have the all cap comedy show coming up.
Sure do. That is my monthly comedy show.
Yeah.
And it's actually me making a grand return. I had to take a break for a little while, just because I was trying to find a venue that, new venue that kind of fit not just the area, but the prestige that I feel when I do this show, if that makes sense. I wanted
Sure.
it to feel grand scale. I wanted it to feel,
Okay.
you know, um, like this was the place that you needed to be. And if you weren't here, what are you doing? Because
Okay.
there's an open mic before the show, there's a cocktail hour, there's, the comedy
Okay.
showcase, there's dinner served, waitresses, all the things.
Wow.
This new venue really kind of fits exactly the idea that I had for my show to begin
Okay.
with. So,
And so it's going to be a number of comedians and run for
so
like
my
a whole.
show normally runs 3 hours. This one will be a little
Okay,
longer
that's
because
what
of that
that's what I
cocktail
was.
hour.
Right.
I do an hour and a half open mic and an hour and a half show.
Okay. That's
And
wonderful.
sometimes the open mic will, be a little shorter depending on people or, a
Okay.
few minutes late or whichever. But the show is always 3 hours, usually in entirety. Now I'm trying to move it between 4 and 5. Um,
Okay.
because it's a Saturday, by doing a cocktail hour first, people are kind of loose. So then by the time the open mic starts, people are a little more inclined to
Sure.
try, that
Sure.
aren't comedians.
Sure.
And then, by the time the show starts, they're just comfortable. They've already ate. Everything's good. You're just watching a
Yeah.
show. So,
Okay. Well, a question I always ask is, do you have a favorite gig? And of course, the follow-up question, do you have a least favorite gig? 5 years, I'm sure you have a lot of experiences you could tell us about.
my favorite gig, if I had to think of the first one that comes to mind, because it
Well, you
was
can
just
do a
so,
couple.
so different.
You don't have to just do one. You can do a couple.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is a show I did for Tata Charisse, another Philly comedian. She had a show that also had a live BDSM demonstration. And I just thought it was
Okay.
so like
Wait, wait, wait,
original.
wait, wait,
And
wait,
so
wait. Slow down there. Slow down. Did I hear that right?
you heard me right.
BDSM. Is that what you said?
Demonstration. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So there was like a, dominant and submissive, and he had
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
lined
Yeah.
out. You could check, he would answer questions, and they did what they did. No one was injured, by the way. And it was all consensual. So
No, 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 no. There's a song by, and I'm a huge fan. I saw him live a few times. Blue Oyster Cult called "Dominance and Submission."
there is.
There you go. Do you know that song? Do you know that? Have you ever
I
heard
have
that?
heard it, but I don't like know it really. Like I've
Oh,
heard
I
that song.
I saw him on New Year's Eve
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very
in
nice. Yeah, that's
Philadelphia. In Philadelphia at the in
oh
Upper
yeah.
Darby at the Tower Theater.
Nice.
There
Nice.
you go. How's that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was a rock and roll guy back in the day. I'm a little old now, but I was a rock and roll guy.
If you're a rock and roll guy, you're a rock and roll guy for life.
You're right. I still am, for shit's sake.
That's right. Look
You
at Ozzy Osbourne. Rock and roll for life.
now, now, I thought you were nice. I thought we were getting along, and you just compare me to Ozzy Osbourne for shit's sake.
No, I
Jesus
compared
Christ.
the rock life to
Jesus
Ozzy Osbourne.
Christ. I'm better looking than Ozzy. Jesus, Ozzy can't even walk.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. But Ozzy still is a legend.
I
Let's
saw,
clarify.
hey, hold on, back her down, Hot Rod. I saw Ozzy live. I
All
saw
right.
Ozzy live in DC.
Very nice. Very nice. I've
I saw
never
Pink
had the
Floyd.
chance.
Hey, don't get me started on music. I know a lot about that stuff.
Yeah. Very
Well,
nice.
we'll try and get back to comedy. I'm being a
Okay.
shithead. Do you have favorite comedians now that you really like?
Favorite comedians, I would definitely say I have a deep appreciation for Taylor Tomlinson. I love how well
Yeah.
written her stuff is. I've always loved Nikki Glazer.
Yeah,
She
she's
definitely
great.
has my style of comedy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of like more well known like popular comedians
It
and the
doesn't,
stuff.
anyone you want to mention.
Um, but Keith from Up the Block is a good comedian. I always love his
Yeah.
comedy.
Right.
I've never seen a set from him that I did not laugh at,
Okay.
and that's
Right.
impressive, honestly. Not like I'm hard to make laugh, but just not everybody has the same humor. So as a comedian, usually when you go
Sure.
different places, you do different sets with different crowds. When
Sure.
you read room
Yeah.
in any set that I've seen, like either online or something, I have laughed every single time, like just the silliest stuff. But I do like Eric Preston.
Okay.
I like Tata Sharice is always hilarious. Yeah, I
Okay.
really like a lot of Philly comedians, and I try to like give them shouts for that. But yeah, I definitely Taylor Tomlinson is one of my top ones, along with
She
Nikki
just got
Glazer.
the Late Show, didn't she? Get the Late Show on
I think
CBS?
she has some kind of show. Yeah,
Yeah, Late Show on CBS, I
it's
think.
like midnight something.
Yeah,
I think
whatever. Yeah, it's better
I
than
don't watch TV, so I've seen
no,
like clips of
really.
it. Yeah, I'm not a.
I watch very little. I can't stand the news. I can't stand anything about it.
I just can't sit still long enough. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
so I'll
Well,
watch things in passing.
you mentioned, doing different types of material,
Mhm.
and I did a joke before we started, a dark joke. Do you consider, obviously, you mentioned, fluctuating depending on where you're at and who, the room
Absolutely.
you're playing for. And you also mentioned that you have like an hour and a half of material.
Way
Do-
more.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Very impressive. For instance, I did one with a guy a few weeks ago that he's been doing it 9 years, and he says he's got a good solid 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, there's colleges for that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
about it's about expanding your work and really working on it. People think they just write jokes down, you tell it for life, it's good. It's not how that
yeah,
works. You have to develop it and
no.
expand it and make it a set.
How would you describe yourself as a comedian as far as it, in other words, is it darker, like we mentioned, dark humor versus, what, clean humor, you can't
I
pigeonhole.
don't do clean humor. I don't do not intentionally, but it's not intentional. I don't like to ever like sign up for a clean comedy show or I don't
Right.
accept them. And the reason is because I don't want to accidentally slip. And I will. you know,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to have to monitor it because I'm not focusing on what
Okay.
I'm telling in my jokes. If I'm like, don't curse, don't curse, don't curse, you know,
Yeah,
or ooh, that one might have been a little spicier. Ooh, someone's gonna get offended by that one, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I
that's
just
great.
I try to stray away from them. I would definitely describe my comedy as raunchy and absolutely unhinged because I just go sometimes off the top of my head. And it's just some of the
Really?
like yeah. A lot of the times when I go to a show, I'll sit and listen to the beginning of the show because I kind of like to tie things and make it fully rounded. And I'll also, start depending on the room with, if it's like a older people,
I
I'll
would
start with
love if
certain
you'd
jokes,
start right now. I'd love if you'd go ahead and do a little craziness for me, a little
Sure.
silliness,
All right. So you're really like,
anything you want. I don't give a shit. Go ahead, say it.
all right. Well, I'll explain why I'm a hoe.
Okay.
How about that? Because there's a difference between a hoe, a whore, and a slut. And this one I always try to shove into any set I do because people
Okay.
need to know this. Okay. It's
All
important.
right.
And these are gender neutral terms.
Okay.
So male or female. Okay. A
Okay.
slut will fuck
Okay.
anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
They're in it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
A whore will only do it for some kind of compensation. Hair and
Okay.
nails, $40, dinner, but it has
Right.
to be
Right.
like
Right.
Olive Garden and above, no Applebee's 2 for 20. Like
Okay.
they
Okay.
are not
All right.
settling for nothing.
Great advice. Thank you.
Right. And then you have your hoes. Hoes choose happiness over everything. They're promiscuous, but only with a select few called a roster. We're called the in-betweeners. They're the people you mess with when you're not in a relationship because you don't want
Right.
to date them. And they
Right.
definitely don't want to date you. They're putting you in bed. And it's comfortable. They know what you like, you know what they like. You can high five a locker room pat on the ass on the way out. See you next time.
Okay.
The in-betweeners.
All right. And you know, I couldn't help as you were doing that, as far as you and dating or relationships, you have a thing about TEA.
Yep. Time, effort, and attention
Yeah.
required
And
for
you don't have
any kind of
time for any of
relationship.
that. You don't have time for any of that bullshit.
Right. Well, I don't have time for the romantic aspect of that because I'm
I'm,
so
I'm
busy trying to
just playing
maintain
with
that.
you.
Well, the T goes for any kind of relationship, familial, friendly, So
Yeah.
I'm so busy trying to manage those
Kind of,
other
kind of like
ones.
this, kind of like this interview, right?
Yeah. I'm
oh,
trying to manage,
oh, you know, I almost made you smile, almost made you laugh,
almost.
almost.
But Brandy had said almost doesn't count. So,
Oh, well, I got your dimples showing a little bit. I had a little something happening.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to make people laugh. You know, I'm trying to bring that joy that I was talking about.
I love it. I love it.
Do you?
My brain, like I said, my brain is
I
just running
told
on
you,
like,
my goal is for you to have fun. I
I'm
wish
having a
you
great
could go on
time.
another rant. Can you go on another rant? Do another. I tell you what, do something that you really that pisses you off that you can go on a good rant for me. I love a good rant.
Something that
Lewis
pisses me off.
Black kind. Do you know Lewis Black? A Lewis Black kind of rant.
All right, here's something that really pisses me off.
Good, good, good.
Okay. When I go, hold on, let me think of give me 1 second to think how I want to explain
Okay.
this
You can
so
talk
that
about
people can
this
understand.
interview. You can talk about this interview.
Those interviews are fine. Something that really, really, really pisses me off
Okay.
is when someone talks down to me,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
even when it's unintentional.
Right.
I'm immediately, who immediately flip a
Yeah.
switch. And I'm a good person. I'm not a nice one, believe it or not. Like if
No, me
I'm
too.
disrespected, it's like forget it. And
Yeah.
I like, especially when they have the finger, I will what? Excuse you. I tell my friends I have a 3-step program with my anger so they know when it's time to pull me out. Okay. Step 1 is this.
See,
Excuse
see.
me? Like the finger. Step 2 is this. Excuse you?
Okay, all right.
Because 3 is the hand. Like you're getting a fist, you're getting knocked out.
You're
So usually when they see me like this, they're like, whoa, what's going on over here? It happens so rarely, Usually I don't get past this. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but it ain't me. All right. It's a 3-step program.
I
Guaranteed.
I tell
I
you
love it.
what, I'll tell you honestly, I'm gonna slide back a little bit. I'm a little nervous just sitting here. I'm afraid. I'm afraid
Men have
you're gonna
said that
come
I
at
am
me like a
intimidating. I
spider
will say that.
monkey and tear shit out of my neck.
That's right.
I
And it's wild to me that people feel that way sometimes because I
oh no,
really
no,
never
I
they but people no really people do. They say I'm intimidating. But the thing is
really
I'm direct and people aren't used to that and they think it's aggression. It's not aggressive. I'm being direct with you. You're used to
hey,
people dancing around, I don't have time for that. So,
hey Doc, I'm having problems making friends, you fucking cocksucker. What do you think the problem is?
well, problem is you're probably a fucking asshole. you know?
I, I'm
Would you
just
want to be friends with you? If not, then fix it.
no, no, hell no. I can barely tolerate being around me. I'm
And that's
barely
why I'm
getting
not a doctor.
I'm barely getting through this goddamn interview. I'm pulling
Facts.
back. I'm scared. You got me scared. Jesus Christ.
Hey
I'm
man,
not
you
gonna
wanted
sit
me to
here.
talk about something that pissed me off.
Well, can I tell them how I started this before we started the recording?
Yes, because I'm going to be talking
What are
about
your
this. Yes,
Instagram posts? And let me just say this. I'll be serious because I am having fun with you, and I hope you are having fun.
I am. I am.
Your Instagram, you have a huge, huge follow, 8,000 plus followers.
Yeah,
So I
it's
went
getting there.
over there, and if you want, how did you amass that? If you don't mind me asking.
Honestly, I was kind of at like, I think it was like 2,500 for a long time.
Yeah, and
And
something
then
blew
I
up.
stitched a fellow comedian's video and it went viral,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2 million viral. And me and
yeah.
her both skyrocketed.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it
what
was like a
happened.
month.
That's what happened with me. I was at like 200, and all of a sudden, one of my jokes went, bonkers, so 300,000 plus, and all of a sudden, I got 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway, I just got to tell people because I wrote it down, And I started with it before we started recording. And she looked and she thought, what is he saying? And I want to make sure I get it right. Either
Well, tell
shut
them
the do you want to set it up?
before you say that, let
Well,
them know.
now,
I came into the
hang on.
Zoom
All
meeting.
right, go
You
ahead.
say, Christy, yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And then you say this.
No, don't piss on it. You
That's exactly what happened. I came in, I was like, hello. You said hello.
you're trying to
And
track.
then
You're
you're
trying
doing
to
a sound check to make sure we can hear each other. And you say
backwater.
what?
Everything is working on my end. You knew damn well.
What did you
Either
say after?
shut the fuck up or become the dick I walk on.
Right. So I'm
And
going, can you hear me?
I told the young lady, it warmed my heart. I thought, well, now that's a lovely young lady. Now that's a woman after my heart.
Period. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The walking on the dick part, really, that's when I said, man, this is a special young lady.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a special lady to change the world. So.
Warm the
But to be
cockles of my.
fair, the timing of you saying that is what made it hilarious. Because I'm going, all right, can you hear
Oh.
me? And I didn't know that you had answered that already. And you're like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, what? Or be the, and I'm like, huh? Because I post so much and so much nonsense that it didn't click initially that I was like, oh, that's mine. Like, you know?
One of my favorite comedy bits, not that this, because we got to get back to you, but have you ever heard of a comedian named Dennis Leary?
Absolutely.
Dennis
Absolutely.
Leary did a bit about being the world's greatest psychiatrist. Have you ever seen that bit?
No. Now I want to.
He would be the world's greatest psychiatrist because somebody would come in and he'd go, shut the fuck up next.
That's so
And the next
funny.
person, okay, look, shut the fuck up next. He says, he does this repeated. Well, I thought I'd start to be the start. Shut the fuck up next. And so when I saw that, I guess that's part of the reason too. Shut
It
the
reminds
fuck up.
Well, that reminds me, there's a person on TikTok who kind of does that. They're like the world's worst therapist. I'll send you after this because I can't remember the name offhand. I'll send you the name.
Okay.
Where she'll come in and like a girl will come in and come crying to him and he'll go, well, have you ever stopped to think that you're a fucking idiot? She's like, what did you just say? You can't talk to me like that. Why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like the worst, like worst therapist. It's great. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, you said something that, and I'd say one of my number one pet peeves is I call them sniveling shits. I think that's
Children?
from the Dennis Leary bit. When you're a sniveling shit, shut the fuck up, you sniveling shit.
I just love the compassion. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's like this coming
Sometimes
from.
people need to hear that though, because that's how my therapist is with me. Like, so are we going to keep whining about this or are we going to
Yeah,
figure
we're
out how
gonna
to
move
fix
on.
it?
Yeah, yeah,
Are you done or are we going to keep trying and
yeah.
figure this out? Like, and I need someone like that because I actually had a therapist that was like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I was like, I literally grossed out right now. Like,
Yeah.
did you just like touch my leg to make sure I'm okay? Ew. And
You
then
are
this lady
too
was like,
much. You are
okay.
too much.
That
My
girl's like, yeah,
God.
you're brave, but like, are we gonna keep crying about this and having night terrors, or are we gonna figure it out? And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
okay, I like her. So
Although we had an auspicious start, you and we're a lot alike. I tell you,
we're
yeah,
busting
we're
it
a
up
lot
here.
alike. I don't, and I tell you what's, I'm much older than you. If you haven't figured that out,
Well, I'm not
and
gonna say my age,
the
but
older you get, the worse it gets. I'll tell you that.
oh no,
My
oh
age,
no.
my tolerance for bullshit is pretty
Well,
fucking
that I'll
slim.
agree. I'll agree to that. But I just get hotter, more unhinged, and more hilarious the older I get. It's just
Me
like,
too. Me too.
honestly, by the time I'm 40, it's a wrap for everybody else.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I see shit on you said you don't watch TV, but somebody maybe tells you something and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They shot they shot him because they didn't get enough wing sauce or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit just drives me crazy.
Yeah, that's what happens when you just let anybody buy a gun. So because
No,
just
you're right. You're
Philadelphia
right.
itself has 15, I think it said 1,500 or 15,000 applications, gun applications.
Yeah.
for the permit, a day, like a
Well,
day.
I'll tell you what's real sad in Philadelphia is that where all the crackheads are and they're like zombies, man. That's scary as shit. What is that?
Oh, Kensington Beach.
Kensington, yeah. I used
You
to
also
live down that way.
see them a lot in Center City.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah,
sad. It's sad.
it is. And
But
honestly, it is and it isn't, because the reality is those people really need mental health help,
yeah.
but then the government can't get financing. They want to keep them on those meds. They want to.
Yeah.
Meds being their meds, their form of medicine.
Well.
They give them clean needles. Here you go. Keep it going. Keep your addiction going.
I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm
they
sorry.
do. They give
Here's
them
clean needles.
They do. And then they're
Yeah.
like, we just want to make sure you're not getting blood diseases. Like, well, how about we just maybe get them to stop using the needles? We have treatment centers. They're coming. Come get your Suboxone. You're still messed up, but not as messed up.
I started smoking. I started smoking the crack light now. I'm the diet crack. I didn't like that. The diet crack had an aftertaste, but I'm smoking the crack light now.
Oh, really? I heard good things about it. Honestly,
the diet crack has an
me.
aftertaste. I'm sorry.
Not for me. I'm a vegetarian. I stick to plants myself. So.
Okay, yeah, I do plants too. I roll them up and smoke them.
Yeah, dandelions are my favorite, honestly. Have you ever smoked dandelions?
No, I never smoked the dandelion.
Gotta try it. I'm telling you, this diet.
Really? Okay.
That's how vegans smoke. They don't smoke like cigarettes or weed. They smoke dandelions and morning glories.
Oh man. What's the buzz like on that?
Slim to none. It's just more the satisfaction, to become one with that flower for that moment.
I was gonna say, man, I'm thinking of a whole garden, man. You're cracking me up.
Love it.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to make sure that we cover everything on your end as far as upcoming gigs, anything. Again, I think what's really important is this all cap comedy show. Would you say that that's the number one thing you have, coming?
Absolutely. Well, I have a lot of things in the works, but I'm going to be
go ahead.
them throughout the year. So
no, but go ahead.
I have a poetry book in the works that should be dropped by December. I'm working on a TV show of my own that I won't say much about because that one has a 5-year plan. And yeah, I mean, I still do my mental health foundation stuff, but that has just been a lot of editing and background stuff. No one's going to see the results of that until all of that is done. Just honestly, because I was doing it like little by little releasing, and I would literally rather put my titty in a panini press than ever do it like that again. I'd rather just not post anything and just keep editing until I'm ready, drop it, all of it.
Right.
Go, have fun, do this. So, but yes, my all cap comedy show, like I said, it was something that I was doing last year, but I needed to find a venue to fit more the feeling or the vibe that I wanted for my show. So I think I found one.
Good.
We're working on a date. I think we have it confirmed, but I don't want to say the date yet. Just it's going to be the end of the summer. And it's going to be great. It's going to be really extra as usual.
Well, and again, pardon my ignorance. Do you have a podcast or do you do? I obviously have huge Instagram, TikTok. I think you're on, I will include all the links. I think you even have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do as much on it right now. I did have a podcast.
Right.
It was called the Hell on the Go podcast. I had about 32 episodes.
Okay.
I ended up taking them down because I was going to edit them out, like trim the fat to edit them. Yeah. And then I just didn't. And then
you got other stuff going on more important than that, right?
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. So it's just, it's not that it will never come back or that it's not an interest of mine. It's just that it's not something I can give my full attention to. And I like everything to be done with my full attention.
Yeah. There's not enough tea.
Yeah. I can't give it the tea.
You can't give it the tea.
I can't give it the tea because I got to get D, and money.
And I'm Scotty T. I don't know if you know that. Back in the day, they used to just call me T.
Oh, look at you with your
like The
street name. Okay.
Sopranos. Yeah, back in when I did promotion, I could make things happen a little bit.
Yeah. Nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
That's like your
But I
street
don't do
name.
that anymore. Right now, I'm going to read a little scripture and turn in early as soon as this is done.
That's how it's done.
I'm kidding you. I'm being completely crazy. You're bringing it out in me.
Hey, man, it could be true, it could be not. I like to give
Yeah,
people
who
benefit of the
knows?
doubt.
Maybe
I mean,
what
I've
read a
had
little
people that
script.
get their back blown out behind an Arby's and then go to church the next morning. So, some for everybody, you know.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to read a little scripture and turn in early. I'm going to keep hitting this little coffee mug here. I may even step it up after this is over.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I'm gonna go to work tonight. I'm a dealer. I deal
Ah,
cards. I play blackjack and roulette all night. So,
well, for me, it's better life through chemistry. Look, we're gonna run out of time, but I hope you maybe can do something for me. I don't care, make it up, whatever you want. Your comedy minute, okay? You're familiar with this? I sent you a message about it, and I'll do a
well,
format.
to
I'll do a.
clarify, is it a comedy skit that I liked?
You can do any story. I'll give you one quick example. I asked this, and the guy said, "Oh, wait, I ate too many mushrooms one time and climbed up on my neighbor's tree." And his neighbor told him to get down. It can be a story, a bit. You do anything you want, but it's just something that makes you laugh whenever you think about it.
Okay, because I was
That
going to
sound
talk
okay?
about
Can I do? Can I
I was
do a
going to
formal
talk about a
introduction?
skit in a show that I liked that
Okay,
makes me
good.
laugh every time. So,
Your comedy
if
minute,
that's okay.
C.A. Kanooble. Your comedy minute. Did I do that right? Your comedy minute, C.A. Kanooble. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, my favorite comedy skit is what I'm going to talk
Okay.
about. It's from a show called MadTV. If you don't know what it is, go
I know
educate
it.
yourself and get out of my face. Okay, favorite show of all time. There was a skit in it where Michael McDonald had a girlfriend and they were bustling around because her parents were coming. They're clearly
Right.
nervous. And she goes, "Smells like lavender in here." And he looks a little nervous. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you're cheating on me? Oh my God." And he's like, "No, no, you need to listen. Like, you're not going to believe it if I tell you." She's like, "No, you're cheating on me. I know it." And he's like, "Listen, I can control the smell of my farts." She looks at him like, "What? No, whatever." He's like, "Name something." She goes, "Citrus." He goes, "Fine." Farts. She goes, "Oh my God, it smells like citrus." And right after that, the whole family walks her door. Grandma, her mom, her dad, and her brother.
Right.
She's like,
Right.
"Oh my God, everybody, this is my boyfriend. You gotta see what he can do." Because he can control the scent of his farts, right? So he's going, "No, no, no, no. Like, I don't think this is appropriate. The first time I'm meeting your
Right.
family, you know?" And she's like, "No,
Right.
no, no." And they're like, "No, you gotta do it." And he's like, "Do me first, do me first." So he like farts in his face. He goes, "Smells like roast beef." And he's like farting in these people's faces. And they're like excited about it and laughing. But the best part of it is the grandmother. She's like, "I want you to do," and it was some kind of dessert. And he's like, "Oh, grandma, to do that, I got to get on the floor, put my legs in the air, put my butt in your face." And she's like, "Ah, don't be a chicken. Come on. Don't be a wuss. Do it, do it." So he does. And the thing with this MadTV, it was, I believe, in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
So Michael McDonald, this legend, is
Yeah.
literally on the floor, ass in the air, legs spread, with his butt in this woman's face to fart, and is holding in laughter the whole time just to get
Yeah.
through this set, And it was just like, I want to be that, like that kind of sketch comedy, that kind of
Yeah.
nonsense, It's just like it really just
That was
inspired me.
that was a fantastic comedy minute. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And no, hold on. I got to tell you, a guy that was my first guest on your comedy minute like 4.5 years ago, Blaine Capatch, was on Mad TV.
That is amazing.
He used to host. He would be on there. Yeah, Mad TV. Blaine Capatch. But yeah, I
Jealous.
thought of that the minute you brought it up because a lot of people don't remember Mad TV, but that was a great show.
MadTV it's still one of my favorite shows. It
Yeah,
inspired
yeah.
me in my show that I'm creating now.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, listen, we're going to run out of time, but
Okay.
I want to thank you first and foremost, and I
Thank you.
want to ask you if you would come back in a few months or 6 months or so. Come back and we'll catch up and see how you're doing.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Okay.
Just let me know.
All right. Good. Good. Because that's my goal is to have people have a good time. Let me stop the recording so we can talk a minute or two off the air if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. I had a wonderful time. You were just I'm speechless.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
No, we had a great time. Thank you.